Okay, picture this middle of summer, you're hosting this huge barbecue, and all of a sudden, your fridge just quits. Total chaos, right?
Absolutely.
Well, today we are diving deep into the world of the people who bail us out in those situations.
That's right.
Appliance repair technicians.
Yeah.
We're talking way more than meets the eye with this career path.
Yeah, it's interesting when you think about it because we depend on appliances for like everything these days. I mean,
You can say that again, from keeping our food from going bad,
yeah.
to, let's be real, like making our morning coffee, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So let's get into it. What do these technicians actually do all day?
Yeah.
RoleCatcher.com is our guide for this deep dive, and they've got the inside scoop. Turns out, it's not just plugging things back in like some people might think.
Right, there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, they're using all this specialized equipment to test electrical systems, diagnosing malfunctions, really got to understand the ins and outs of how these machines work.
Oh, yeah, it's like they're machine whisperers or something. I mean, the variety of appliances they got to handle is incredible. One day it's a dishwasher, next day it's a refrigerator with all the bells and whistles.
And it's not like you're stuck at a desk all day either.
All right, right, exactly.
So that variety, I imagine that keeps things interesting.
Oh, for sure.
Speaking of which, this career, you're not just stuck in one place either. Could be a busy repair shop one day, then you're at someone's house the next, fixing their oven,
Yeah.
navigating around their family, trying to fix things. That human element, I feel like that adds a whole other layer to the job, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, can you imagine walking into someone's house when they're stressed because their oven decided to die right before a big family dinner?
Oh, I can only imagine.
You got to have the technical skills, but also be able to like talk to people and empathize with them when they're in a tough spot.
Be a problem solver on a whole other level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Now, RoleCatcher's up front about it. It is physically demanding. You're on your feet a lot. Sometimes you got to contort yourself into weird positions to get to things, maybe even move heavy appliances around.
Yeah, it's a workout for sure.
It's a workout.
But, that's kind of a good thing in a way.
How so?
Well, it kind of weeds out the people who aren't cut out for it,
Oh, I see. Like a built-in test.
Yeah, exactly. The people who are drawn to this kind of work, they usually enjoy that aspect of it. They like working with their hands. They like the physicality of it.
Yeah, makes sense. So we've touched on some pros and cons there, but let's dig a little deeper. RoleCatcher highlights some biggies on the plus side. High demand for this kind of work, solid earning potential, and a good bit of flexibility if you decide to go the independent contractor route.
Right, right. All good points.
Yeah, those are some attractive perks.
Absolutely.
But of course, every job has its downsides. RoleCatcher talks about the need for constant learning, dealing with unpredictable schedules, and yeah, sometimes, dealing with those frustrated customers we talked about.
That's the name of the game, right? It's all about finding that balance.
It really is. But here's something I find interesting. Those cons, like the physical demands, constantly adapting, the pressure of figuring out problems on the spot, those also build resilience and resourcefulness, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. Those are skills that translate to any career, honestly, any part of life, really.
For sure.
Being able to troubleshoot on your feet, stay calm when things are going haywire, communicate clearly, those are invaluable skills no matter what you do.
Couldn't agree more. So someone's listening right now thinking, okay, this is speaking to me. What's the path forward look like?
Well, RoleCatcher lays it out pretty clearly.
Uh-huh.
Starts with entry level, learning the ropes, maybe assisting a more senior tech.
Right, get your feet wet.
Exactly. Then as you gain experience, proficiency, you move up to junior technician.
Handling more on your own.
Right, more repairs independently, maybe even start to specialize a bit.
I like that they have those example profiles, really helps visualize things. Like that entry-level tech who's just absorbing knowledge,
Oh, absolutely.
meticulous about every detail, because they know a small slip-up can turn into a big headache later.
That attention to detail, so crucial, especially now with appliances getting more and more complex.
Can argue with that.
Remember we were talking about smart appliances? What does that even mean for repair techs these days?
Oh, that's a good question. It's not just fixing a mechanical timer anymore.
Exactly. You could be dealing with a fridge that's got Wi-Fi, touchscreen controls, sensors for everything, temperature, humidity, you name it.
Wow, it's a whole different ballgame.
It really is. You got to understand how the digital stuff works with the mechanical part.
It's like the difference between fixing a rotary phone and troubleshooting a smartphone, right?
Perfect analogy. And just like with smartphones, staying updated on the latest tech is essential in this field.
Makes sense. Everything's changing so fast.
Right. RoleCatcher really emphasizes that continuous learning aspect, talking about industry publications, online forums, places where techs can all share knowledge and help each other out.
Sounds like a tight-knit community.
It can be, especially with energy-efficient models becoming more popular.
Oh, right, because those probably have their own quirks.
Exactly. They often use newer tech like inverter compressors and fridges or heat pump systems and dryers.
So you really got to stay informed to properly diagnose and repair that stuff.
Absolutely. It's not enough to just fix what's broken anymore. You got to understand how these new technologies affect the appliance's efficiency, its overall performance.
Right, it all ties together.
Now, when technicians move into those more senior roles, they often take on more leadership, mentoring the junior techs, and handling those really tough repairs, the ones that have everyone else stumped.
They've seen it all, right?
They've seen it all. They've got the experience, the expertise to handle those complex situations.
They're like the appliance whisperers. Just by listening, they know.
That's a great way to put it. And even with all that experience, RoleCatcher found that even those seasoned techs still emphasize continuous learning.
Makes you realize you're never really done learning in this field.
Exactly. Technology never stands still, so neither can you.
So let's say someone's convinced, intrigued by this mix of technical skills and working with people. Where do they even begin?
Well, besides checking out RoleCatcher, of course, which is a great starting point,
Of course, of course.
they do highlight some common paths like vocational schools, apprenticeships.
Right, those traditional routes.
But there's also the hands-on approach. Ever thought about taking apart an old appliance, one that's not working anymore, just to see how it ticks?
There's something about taking things apart.
Yeah.
But maybe hold off on dismantling a perfectly good fridge.
Right. Safety first, always. The point is, don't be afraid to tinker, experiment a little, make mistakes, but in a controlled environment, right? That's how you learn if you actually enjoy this type of work.
That's how you figure out what you're good at, too.
Exactly. It's all about exploration.
So next time your dryer starts acting up, instead of immediately calling for help, you might find yourself a little curious, peeking behind the curtain, so to speak.
Right. And who knows, maybe you try a little troubleshooting yourself.
And maybe, just maybe, you surprise yourself. Discover a knack for it, that feeling of satisfaction when you get something working again.
There's nothing quite like it.
There really isn't.
And even if you don't become a full-fledged technician, you at least gain a deeper appreciation for the people who do this day in and day out.
Oh, absolutely. Those folks are lifesavers, let's be real.
They keep our homes running smoothly, often without much recognition.
It's true, they don't get enough credit.
So next time you see an appliance repair technician, give them a nod, a thank you. They're the unsung heroes of the modern world.
So anyone listening who's now thinking, okay, this blend of technical skills and working with people, that's me. Where do they even start? Besides checking out RoleCatcher, of course.
Well, RoleCatcher does highlight some common paths, like vocational schools, apprenticeships, that sort of thing. But then there's the hands-on approach. Ever thought about, taking apart an old appliance?
Oh, you mean like one that's already broken?
Exactly. Not your brand new fridge or anything.
Right, safety first.
Exactly. But yeah, just to see how it works,
There is something about taking things apart.
It sparks that curiosity. Don't be afraid to tinker, experiment. You might even make some mistakes along the way, but that's how you learn.
Yeah, that's how you figure out if you actually enjoy that kind of work, too.
Exactly.
So next time, let's say your dryer is acting up, instead of immediately making that call for help.
You might be tempted to peek behind the curtain yourself.
Exactly. Maybe even do a little troubleshooting. And who knows, maybe you find out you have a knack for it.
You might surprise yourself.
There's something satisfying about figuring it out, getting something working again.
There really is. And hey, even if you don't become a full-fledged appliance repair technician, you at least gain a deeper appreciation for the folks who do it every day.
Oh, for sure. We've covered a lot of ground today about the world of appliance repair, wouldn't you say?
We have. It's a lot more than meets the eye.
It really is. Any final thoughts for our listeners before we wrap up?
I'd just say, never underestimate skilled trades. These are the people who keep our homes running, and often they don't get nearly enough credit. So next time you see an appliance repair technician, give them a nod, a thank you. They really are the unsung heroes of our modern world.
Well said. And who knows, maybe one of our listeners will be the one saving the day with their toolbox in the near future.
I hope so.
Until then, happy fixing, everyone.